I have been interested in personal finance for over 3 years now, and I have learned a lot about money, investing, and the psychology behind money. And here are 5 truths about money you should know, no matter your age or point in life. This truth can help you as it helped me build strong financial habits. Hi, Jarod here, and today let's talk about finance. And well, truth number 1, money takes time to grow. Do not try to make quick money in the stock market or crypto market. This can be rewarding, but I would recommend the safer approach, which will give you more in the long run. So the best moment to start is yesterday, and the second best moment is today. So set up your investment account and start investing. And here is a graph that shows the 8th wonder of the world, the compound effect. It is literally the graph of your life. Say you are 20 years old, maybe more, maybe less, but here 20. You decide to work until you are 60, so 40 years at work with a salary of, let's say, $2,000. In the end, you will have $960,000. Congratulations, you are almost a millionaire. But obviously, you have to pay for a lot of things along the way. The rent or the mortgage, the food, electricity and water, phone bill, and so on. You may decide to build a family, so extra costs to pay attention to. And all of this will bring your total worth from $1 million to maybe $300,000. And that's without traveling or Netflix subscriptions. But now you can go back in time and you decide to invest a third of your income each month, passively in an index fund that tracks the S&P 500. And if you don't know what it is, that's basically a no-brainer. So a basket of the 500 biggest US companies, and this alone is considered to be one of the safest investments you could make. You simply download the broker of your choice and search for the S&P 500. You'll be able to see which companies are in it and in which proportion. That's pretty cool in my opinion. And by the way, it has historically returned around 10% a year for the past 70 years. Okay, let's go back to our little calculation. For the first 10 years, your $700 invested each month will be worth $150,000. In the next 10 years, it will be worth $550,000, so it quadruples in value, and after 30 years, it would be worth $1,600,000. And 40 years after your first $700 invested, you would have $4 million. That seems crazy, right? But this is the power of the compound effect. It takes time to take off, and once the momentum has been built, it simply grows exponentially. Okay, so truth number 2. For me, it is one of the most crucial money truths that I've learned over the past years. Investing is not complicated. At the beginning of my investing journey, I wanted to start investing and immediately dive into individual companies, and like a lot of people, I got overwhelmed and didn't know where to look for, didn't know how to diversify, and opted out again. And luckily, there are 3 straightforward solutions for that. And first, as previously said, instead of choosing only one stock that could plummet the next month, you can choose a basket of hundreds of stocks at the same time. And this is one of the best ways to diversify your portfolio and keep it safe, even during periods of economic instability. No need to manually diversify or check your company's stats. Everything is taken care of. The only thing you have to do is create an account and start buying stocks. Secondly, if you truly want to get into the investing world and try to make your money grow over time, the only possibility is to invest in yourself first. Go to Google and search for investing books or videos. I will also recommend Google Finance, a great tool that helps me pick stocks by analyzing the intrinsic value, do your best to understand what P/E ratio means, then dividend yields, net income, and return on capital. See how they perform over the last 5 years or 10 years if you can. With that, you would already have what's needed to understand a huge part of the company. And tips number 3. Follow my investing series, because this channel has only one goal, to allow you to invest in yourself, whether it is by learning a new skill, learning how to manage money, etc, etc. So I've recently started a challenge with you called the Invest With Me series, where I'll try to have $500 each month in dividends passively from the $500 invested each month. And again, each time I invest in front of you to show you which stocks I buy, why I buy them, and also how I adapt to the markets. And above all, this lets you invest at the same time as I do. The truth number 3. Wealth is what you do not see. It is the cars that have not been bought, the diamonds not purchased, the renovations postponed, the clothes you keep wearing for the past few years, and the first class upgrade you ignored. Basically bank assets that haven't yet turned into the items you physically see. We can see what we spend our money on. A new house, a new car, and a new set of golf equipments. Right, our greedy monkey minds observe what other people spend their money on. We are aware of the wealth that exists above the surface. Right, however, the wealth we perceive is wasted. As a result, it is no longer wealth. It's been used, in fact. It's no longer there. That cars will be worthless. the novelty of the new clubs will wear off by next year, and so on. That is why the majority of wealth is hidden under the surface. Wealth is built by constant drip of investment deposits, similar to how decades of waves curve a seashore rock. Wealth is the accumulation of compound interest, which develops slowly at the beginning, then quickly at the end. Wealth is defined as the ability to choose not to spend money. The only reason most of us do not ever get rich is that we have conflicting desires. We want to be rich and spend a lot of money, but we do not have enough to grow our accounts. When most people say they want to be a millionaire, what they really mean is I want to spend millions of dollars, which is literally the opposite of being a millionaire. And at some point, you have to pick whether you want to be rich or buy stuff. There is no way around it. It's one or the other. Keep in mind that wealth is quiet. Truth number 4. And one truth about money that I learned is that small habits can have significant impacts. For example, you could start to save some money here and there each week. It could be cooking your own food, avoiding going out too much, trying to take a walk instead of taking the car as often as possible, and so on and so on. In the end, that could be a 25% increase in saving over the last month, so a few $100s. It didn't feel like a life-changing habit when I was doing it, but when I looked back at the end of the month, I found that I saved lots of money. And research shows that small changes in your daily routine, like taking the stairs instead of the elevator, using organic salt instead of table salt, or drinking less coffee after work, can have a positive long-term impact on your health. The change you make becomes your new habit. A small change can be a tiny habit, and it can be as simple as taking a quick look at your finances, for instance. If you leave in the morning, so you know what your budget is for the day. But it can also be something that requires more effort, like changing how you organize your filing system or spending less time on social media. For example, instead of spending too much time on social media, you could spend that amount of time at the gym each week, which is, in the long run, highly beneficial. Set a rule about what you can and cannot do. This can be something as simple as do not enter emails during a meeting, or I make one person happy every day, for instance. Or maybe just tell yourself, I will not do this until this habit becomes a second nature. A good way to start is to set yourself a task each day that's simple, but small enough that it does not feel overwhelming. For instance, just walking to the supermarket instead of driving, and that's the everyday things that adds up to a big change over time. Remember that even tiny habits in your daily routine can have a big difference in your life. Truth number 5, and the last, if you do not read, you won't succeed. And that's pretty straightforward and easy to understand, right? But there's a real and deep meaning behind that simple sentence. It says that you should be a child for the rest of your life. And why? Because even children always learn from everything, from their environment to the people they interact with. If you don't know where to start, simply take your phone and Google something that is interesting and relevant to you. Could be about electronics, aviation, photography, and so on. The goal is to learn something continuously every day. The next level would be reading books, because phones can be highly distracting, right? So I would recommend a Kindle, as it is lightweight and can store thousands of books in a blink of an eye. And I have the Amazon Kindle Paperwhite, and it's been one of my favorite purchases ever made. And in fact, the chapters of this video are based on the books The Compound Effect and The Psychology of Money, with the quote, "Wealth is what you don't see. Spending money to show people how much money you have is the fastest way to have less money." And I think that the internet more broadly is also a great way to learn from others, but most of the time it's been copied and pasted from a book that contains 10 times more content than on the internet, along with more examples and in-depth topics. So, what do you think about my financial advice? And would you have any to recommend? I would be interested in your point of view. Thanks so much for watching. Feel free to leave a comment down below, subscribe if you want to see more, and as always, I will see you in the next one.